Republican stronghold that Trump won by 17 points just flipped Democrat by 14 points. That's a 31-point swing in deep red Texas. George Soros dumped $7 million into this race, while 26,000 Republicans decided to stay home. This isn't just about one district. This is about the future of conservative America, and what happened next will stun you. Now, here's what this means for you personally. If Democrats can flip a district that Trump won by 17 points, nowhere is safe. Your conservative representative could be next. The dark money machine that targeted Texas is coming for your district with the same playbook. Socially, this proves the left's billionaire puppet master will spend unlimited cash to buy elections and silence your voice. They're not just targeting politicians, they're targeting the America First movement itself. Politically, this 31-point swing signals a coordinated assault on Republican strongholds nationwide. If we lose Texas, we lose everything. The midterms are just around the corner, and Democrats proved they'll spend whatever it takes to crush the conservative resistance. And speaking of strategic vulnerabilities, there is breaking news you need to know about for our national security. Under the radar, this happened January 5th, 2026. U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore domestic uranium enrichment capabilities. This is not just government spending. It's a declaration of intent. America needs uranium, and it needs domestic uranium right now. Did you know the U.S. consumes 50 million pounds, 50 million annually, but sadly only produces 5%. We are dangerously dependent on foreign sources, including countries that don't have our best interests at heart. While Democrats focus on flipping district with dark money, smart Americans are securing their future with atomic minerals. They're the only company positioned to capitalize on America's uranium renaissance. With government contracts flowing and domestic production ramping up, uranium stocks are primed for explosive growth. Don't let foreign independence threaten your financial security. Visit the link in the description for your exclusive briefing that has been prepared just for Next News viewers to learn how uranium investments can power your portfolio while strengthening America's energy independence. The link is down below because America's strength starts with energy independence. Now back to this Texas election disaster. Now here's the twist that nobody's talking about. Trump himself just called for nationalizing voting systems, saying Republicans should take over elections in crooked states. He's connecting the dots between illegal voting and these mysterious swings. Meanwhile, forecasters are warning this Texas result means Democrats are outperforming their 2024 baseline by 12 points nationwide. Are you scared yet? Are you concerned yet? Are you paying attention yet? The party that wins special elections typically takes the House. Here's President Trump. Says he doesn't know about the elections in Texas, but this is what he had to say.
He says he doesn't know about it, but he actually does. He posted 3 separate times about it before the election, trying to prop up the Republican candidate. David, we've seen the president's...
President Trump knows what's going on. Now, this wasn't just any loss. It was a historic GOP stronghold crumbling. After 5 decades, the GOP just lost a special election in Texas they held for 50 years. 50 years. Wall Street Journal says that Stephen Miller's mass deportation strategy is to blame and that Republicans are turning on him. Is that right?
The Republican Party is heading towards a blowout in the upcoming November midterms, largely due to the policy of Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and mouthpieces like Kristi Noem and Kash Patel constantly embarrassing the party. What we're about to see is going to be a unique wave according to all available polling data and according to a special election, actually 2 special elections that just happened in Texas over the weekend. So after these special elections were just disastrous for the Republican Party, certain Republicans came out and began to blame this on Stephen Miller. Now, don't get me wrong. The onus also falls equally on Trump, who is going all in on the most radical deportation policy, but it's no secret that Stephen Miller is the one who guides a lot of this behind the scenes. Murdoch paper warns Trump that Stephen Miller's plot is backfiring after the humiliating GOP defeat. Now, Stephen Miller's, again, his messaging strategy is being rejected pretty roughly. Stephen Miller tweeted out just yesterday, "In America, for generations now, the policy has been that anyone who would economically benefit from moving to the U.S. can do so. Exercise the franchise in the U.S. and their children, the moment they are born, will be full citizens with all the rights and benefits therein." Yeah, that is embedded directly in the Constitution, you racist weirdo. And someone replied, like, if you didn't know that Stephen Miller was an insane racist, you'd think that he was proudly describing the best thing about America.
So you can see on the left, they're already celebrating this, pointing fingers. The Wall Street Journal's reporting on Miller gives us the why behind the shocking flip. Now let's look at how dramatic the swing actually was. Texas 9 didn't just swing to the left on Saturday. It took a rocket ship. Should the GOP be worried? Dems are now outperforming Harris's 2024 baseline by 12 points in the average. Okay, guys, listen, this is the warning. This is the warning. Wake up. How many people stayed home from that election? 28,000? That could have cost the entire election. You cannot sit out on the midterms. Holy cow.
That's exactly right. Texas 9, because what happened in Texas 9? It didn't just swing to the left. It took a rocket ship to the left. My goodness gracious, the Texas 9 Senate District election marches. This was a district that Donald Trump won by 17 points in 2024. The Democratic candidate in the special election on Saturday, won it by 14 points. That's an over 30-point shift to the left. Any Republican, unlike Ron DeSantis, who doesn't take this seriously, they should realize that this is very perilous. They ignore this result at their own peril. Ron DeSantis is right to say, hey, special elections can be quirky, but this ain't no quirk.
Congressman Pete Sessions from Texas basically told me, he said, no Democrat should ever win in North Texas like this. Although he also said, there was an ice storm, 31 points. That's not an ice storm.
No, that ain't no ice storm. If you ignore this, you're going to ice yourself out of a majority come the midterms.
All right, when we look at these special elections, and this is something you and I talk about a lot and look at very closely in between the federal elections, what can they tell us?
Okay, so, you see this 31-point shift to the left, right? If this were just one election, that would be one thing. But it's the slew of special elections that together paint a picture, and it's a picture that Democrats should love and a picture that Republicans should be really worried about. Because what are we talking about here? Okay, the average 2025, 26 special election, Democrats are doing, get this, 12 points better. 12 points better than Kamala Harris did in 2024. That was a state special election that happened in Texas on Saturday. If you look at the federal special elections, this 12 points is actually north of 15 points on average. I was looking back through the history books. This looks a whole heck of a lot like what we saw during the 2017-2018 cycle, where you saw these Democrats outperforming how Hillary Clinton did in 2016. And what did it forecast? It forecast a net gain of 40 seats for Democrats. And I remember back in Pennsylvania, remember there was that Southwestern, that was a congressional special election seat, but that was one in which the Democratic candidate was able to actually win a deeply red Republican district. And that, of course, foretold big Democratic gains come 2018.
Foretells how? I mean, how frequently do these special elections foretell what happens in the midterms?
Okay, so you see this 12-point overperformance. You see this 31-point overperformance. But that don't mean nothing if it ain't forecastable to the midterm elections. So what are we looking at here? Well, take a look at special elections since all the way back in the 2005-2006 cycle. 5 out of 5 times the party that outperforms in the special elections goes on to win the U.S. House of Representatives. And this, of course,
Okay, guys. Do you understand the consequences here? If we lose the House, it's over. It's over. The impeachment proceedings are going to begin. They're going to start dragging every member of the administration before Congress. They're going to hamstring us, and it is over. The MAGA party is over. This is really serious, and I cannot impress enough that we need to heed this warning right now.
Paints a picture, right? Texas 9, the special elections, the history of special elections, in which Democrats look like they're in the catbird seat to take back the U.S. House come 2026 November.
Which is why Ron DeSantis and others are nervous this morning. Harry,
They should be.
thank you.
Yeah. And why I'm nervous this morning. These numbers aren't just numbers. They're a rocket ship trajectory that has major implication for what comes next in American politics. Trump calls for nationalizing voting. Listen.
And they vote illegally. And amazing that the Republicans aren't tougher on it. The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so
corrupt that they just make up the votes. You don't need to tell me. Trump's response to the loss reveals exactly how rattled the GOP is. The data backs it up. Texas 9 didn't just swing to the left. It took off like a rocket ship. While Trump lashes out, the hard numbers from the forecasters tell the real story. Millions in dark money fueling the Democrat in this race. Lay for Texas. 26,000 Republicans haven't voted in this special election. Listen.
Finally, the truth is being published in this morning's Texas Voice article entitled Dark Money Fueling Democrat Efforts in Texas. It reveals the millions of dollars raised by Texas Majority PAC, a partner of the Texas Democrat Party, and that it is funding nearly 2/3 of Democrat Taylor Remit's campaign. It also reveals over $7 million in George Soros' direct contributions. Check it out for yourself. The article is in the comments. Friends, over 26,000 Senate District 9 Republicans haven't voted. Run. Don't walk to the polls tomorrow, Saturday, January 31st, and vote in this special election. Only you have the power to keep Texas sane and free.
Yeah. Well, apparently her message wasn't heard. But we're hearing it loud and clear about who's funding it. So here's the moment of truth. That ice storm, right? Republicans are blaming. It didn't cause a 31-point swing. Dark money did. Soros money did. And 26,000 Republicans who thought their vote didn't matter. They handed Democrats this victory. This is what happens when we get complacent in Trump country. The bottom line is simple. No district is safe when billionaire leftists can dump unlimited dark money into local races. Texas just proved that. Conservative complacency equals conservative defeat. We can't let 26,000 Republicans stay home ever again because the radical left never takes a day off from trying to destroy our movement. They're coming for your district next with the same Soros playbook. The question is, will you let them flip your representative too? Or will you fight back? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop for gear that shows you're part of the America First resistance.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.